Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So happy to be back with you again. Now we are in the middle of the week here in Thailand, the middle of the week around the world, no doubt too. And what we are going to mention today, and I'd hoped to make this little podcast or broadcast from the temple here, because the temple here at Gupta Govardhan, it has many lotuses around and many lotus leaves. However, I'm just a couple of minutes late to start because down there, for some reason, I was not able to connect to the internet. So we've come upstairs closer to the machinery which runs the internet. But there we have many lotus flowers. And with the recent passing away of a couple of devotees who were very much, you can say, compos mentis, very much alert and fully active a short while ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now they passed away due to the virus which is going around the world. But this world is like a drop of water in the lotus leaf. And here, in case anyone hasn't seen what happens when you put a drop of water on a lotus leaf, that lotus leaf, it is supporting the water, but you see the slightest movement anywhere. The drop of water is like a ball of mercury. It's shaking about on the leaf, and at any moment, then it can just slip off the leaf and go away. So we have this example that Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala, like the water on the lotus leaf, the Jiva soul is tottering. Its future is uncertain. At any moment we can be taken from these bodies. So when people that we know leave the world, it makes it nearer and clearer to us, really, the temporary nature where we are living. So some live examples, if you like, live reminders, not to waste any time in this world. We've got such a valuable opportunity. Here we are. We've got not only the opportunity to hear that we're meant to be devotees, but we've got the connection with the great masters. We've got the direction of the great masters. We've got the opportunity of savor to the great masters. And so, as a reminder, we want to say to each other, let us not waste any time in this world with any discussions or considerations about all the different external things of this world which really try to come to take away the attention of everybody's mind. We are being bombarded with information. A long time ago, I read a piece of information which said that the Sunday issue of the New York Times has more information in it than a person was likely to have been bombarded with throughout his whole life in the 17th century. So, true or not, at least it gives a very good idea of just how much information is being sent to us on a day-by-day basis of the politics of the world, and supposed knowledge of the body, the universe, of science, this, that, and the other. But really, the only valuable information that we really need to give our attention to is, where am I to go to, and how to go there. And all of this relies on getting good advice, honest advice, perfect advice, advice which is not diluted, advice which is not going to be a trade-off between, maybe we can do this, so let's do that. It'll be good enough, it'll be all right in the end. But rather, the honest advice comes clear and simple. So, Srila Guru Maharaj, he was the giver of the honest presentation of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Some a question came up when I was there with Guru Maharaj, and a devotee was asking about something about one of the other temples in Navadip Dham. And they said, so Guru Maharaj, we've seen that this is depicted in that temple. How are we to understand that? And then Guru Maharaj, he said just honestly and clearly, he said, actually, that is a wrong depiction. This was in one of the temples established by the godbrothers of Guru Maharaj, the disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Guru Maharaj said, actually, this is wrong conception that they have given there. And in a very public place, they have put this, as though it is the preaching of Mahaprabhu or the standard of Mahaprabhu. And Guru Maharaj said, I told them that this is not proper. It is not the proper way to make such a diorama, what was contained there. But then Guru Maharaj said, I said this to them with good reasoning, explaining Srila Saraswati Thakur's point of view. But they didn't listen to what I had to say. And Guru Maharaj then commented, after the disappearance of Guru Maharaj, means my Guru Maharaj, he's saying my Guru Maharaj, means Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He's saying after the disappearance of Srila Guru Maharaj, then many, they made separate decisions, not in the line of Srila Saraswati Thakur. And in this way, they have made, you can say, some deviation, something which is not what Saraswati Thakur gave. And they say, oh, in the name of preaching, attracting people, whatever it may be. But Guru Maharaj, seriously, but affectionately and heartfully said, but I am not of that type. I strictly adhere to what I understand is the conception of Guru Maharaj, of my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I strictly adhere to that. What I understand from him, to the best of my understanding, that I am following. So we are extremely fortunate to be under such a careful shelter. And when his godbrothers, they would refer to him, and still not all his godbrothers would listen to his advice, but they all knew that what Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, our Guru Maharaj, what he was giving, then it was as if it is coming from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Indeed, they considered him the voice of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur after Srila Saraswati Thakur's disappearance. So we need to get honest, good advice. We need to know, not for the sake of it being easier to understand a lesser conception or practice a lesser practice, but we need to get honest advice for our best progress in this world to the upper world, to go on the path, the journey. The journey is Abhideya, the way to go from A to B, or in our case, A to Z or A to Z, from where we are to our ultimate destination. We want to get a proper conception of the destination also, and a proper understanding of how to journey, how to face the various difficulties and unique situations, because no two situations are identical, no two people are identical, no two blades of grass are identical. So always how to adjust to new circumstances, what will be the criteria for making our decisions, what will be the criteria of what we accept, what we leave behind, how to go forwards. So Srila Guru Maharaj, so generously throughout his whole life, and especially in his later years in the English language to the Western world, presented the very nature of our destination and the very nature of the journey. And of course, Guru Maharaj did point out so often, but he certainly pointed out where we are, which is this place where the Jiva soul, like a drop of water, is just temporarily and delicately placed in this lotus leaf of this body. It's just very delicately placed there. And so while we are still in our bodies, while we are still in fit mind and fit body, etc., then let us try to take these guidances to heart. And the center of this is to get good association, to learn the good practices, to do the good practices. Jagadananda, in the Prema Vivata, he points out that if you want the association of Mahaprabhu, if you want the blessings of Mahaprabhu, you must first become sense-controlled. We must be sense-controlled, because otherwise, what is the difference between us and an animal? If we cannot control, try to control our speech, our mind, anger, tongue, belly, genitals. Rupa Goswami given specifically these 6 urges that we are to tolerate, control, and not give in to them. And then step by step to avoid the things which are bad for us, to accept the things which are good for us. And in this world we've been given the guidance centered on the holy name of the Lord as our wonderful medicine. By carefully chanting the holy name of the Lord, we will get all success. Our diseased condition, where our urges, our senses are generally our masters, that we are not controllers of them, that we are self-centered, the senses thinking I for everything. I want to see good things, hear good things, smell good things, touch good things, etc. But the I side of things, this needs to be under control. Goswami, Goswami. We see the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. I see, sorry, the Facebook feed again is giving trouble. Please excuse those who are listening on Facebook. Perhaps it's already stopped. The technology is meant to be working always in our favor, but we seem to have difficulty with connections. Anyhow, we need to have a strong connection and no difficulty with our connection to the upper world. Those on Facebook, I think, will be getting a copy of the Instagram feed if this is not actually flowing properly on Facebook. Kindly excuse. So we need, as internet is connecting us to the World Wide Web, we need the faith in Guru and Gauranga, faith in the Shastra, faith in the journey that we are to take. We need, by faith we will get courage. By courage we will do. By doing we will go forwards. And the promise is that certainly if we follow the guidance of Guru and Gauranga, of the great acharyas, then we will be successful. And that the great sadhus, the great forefathers, our spiritual forefathers, they are the guarantee to show the success of this process. So here we are, we're in the material world. Our friends are passing away from this world. Our friends are repeatedly, okay, one friend is passing away in this lifetime once from this world. Repeatedly we are seeing that our friends are passing away from this world. And this surely must be a reminder to us that we need to keep always the priority of our spiritual journey, our spiritual life. So the temple is giving us the example for us all to follow. And although everybody cannot spend 2 hours every morning, an hour and a half every evening, such a program engaged in the archan and the bhajans, reading, etc. Although that isn't practical, we know for so many people in the world, especially if you're not with others who are participating, which makes actually time contract, because with the devotees, it seems that 2 hours is insufficient, is not enough to finish everything we want to go through in a morning program. But the temple is the example, like the ideal. to make our lives successful. So we have the wonderful examples of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Lion Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is our umbrella. This is our place of nourishment. Here is where we are receiving Chaitanya Charitamrita, the message of the great scriptures, the message of the scriptures which we are not to read. We are cautioned not to read because they are above our pay grade, if you like, and we are likely to go into imitation or pretending or imagination or some other way. So following still that guidance from our gurus, we will try to focus on the presentation of the scriptures, the message, the journey, the destination from their writings. So here we are in this world. We have our destination, Goloka Vrindavan, and we've got our associates, our friends on the journey. And may we always try to come together with those friends to read, yes, the same topics, the topics of Bhakti Yoga, to put in our mind, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, the 9 processes of devotion, to discuss these processes, to discuss Chaito Dapanang Majanang Bhava, this first verse, and all verses, but this first verse of Shikshastakam. And then it's recorded that Srila Saraswati Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur stressed that that verse should always be discussed everywhere, the glories of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And we don't want to be in that category where we have seen Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj, after some devotees coming to him, actually 2 devotees came to him in particular, but this is not a one-off situation. A couple of devotees came to him and they are saying to Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, said, oh, we've been practicing all these years, but we have no taste, no encouragement. We are feeling that we're not going anywhere. But these devotees, I know Srila Saraswati Thakur also had similar devotees come to him, but these 2 devotees, Gurudev, when they went downstairs, this is in Navadip on his veranda, when they went downstairs after Gurudev's darshan and were going along the corridor, Gurudev like immediately saying, if they are not following the process, how can they expect to get the result? How can they expect to feel any nourishment? How can they expect it? So we must be careful ourselves. It's not just, oh yes, we've come to Srila Sri Ramakrishna, we've come to Krishna consciousness, we've come to this path, oh yes, we're vegetarian, sometimes we offer our meal, have prasadam. But what are we trying to do? We want to be actually taking this heart and soul and at least making our daily sadhana, our daily nourishment in spiritual life. So with all these things that are happening in this world, and as Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj pointed out the other day, like in one day, within 1 week, it's not that just you and I are having a talk and thinking that, oh yes, people are dropping dead all around us. How many of our friends, how many of the people we know have already died in front of us, in this world? Not just you and I, but the whole world suddenly woke up. Practically everybody, to the fact that we are mortal, we are tottering like the drop of water on the leaf of the lotus flower. So here we are in this world. We need to put into practice. An ounce of practice is worth a ton of theory. Many things that we've heard from our good advisors and from our very helpful publishers in Calcutta about an ounce of practice is worth a ton of theory, when they want to see the book actually laid out, printed, a dummy book with all the pages in the right order to show, okay, this is what the book will look like, etc. So an ounce of practice is worth a ton of theory. And here we are in the world where we are to practice our devotional life, and in the association of devotees as much as possible to try to reinforce our devotional activities. So our Parayan of Chaitanya Charitamrita, our Parayan, our continuous reading of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev's books. These are going to be really very much our source. But how much can we read every day? We must then just take our allotted, you could say, morning reading time, evening reading time. But in the day, more and more we need to pray with the Maha Mantra, or praying as prayer is, prayer from the heart, that, dear Lord, please give me the connection of service. Sorry, I've got these little insects flying around me. I need to spray myself with insect spray. So we need to engage our daytime with devotional service. And that, if we can make our eating devotional, that is going to be so helpful. As Gurudev said, if we can honor prasadam, learn what is honoring prasadam, and actually honor prasadam, we have almost conquered the whole, which is quite a strong, it's a very strong statement. But when we can actually make eating into savor, actually as a devotional activity, taking the Lord's remnants, honoring the Lord's remnants, then our tongue is becoming controlled, belly controlled, genitals controlled. You are what you eat, so what you speak will be moderated, what you think will be moderated, anger will go into the back door. But of course, it's not just we only take prasadam. We are taking prasadam for our nourishment, but centered around the holy name. And as we make these steps forward with our prayer, Krishna will give the opportunity for service. He will let us understand, how can I do something useful with either with my skills or with the result of my skills, in some way that we keep a connection in the service plane. So urgency is something which I feel is a little bit of the theme of today, and as always, the safety in our steps forward, knowing it is urgent. We don't want to waste any time in the peripheral. We want to keep our eye on the ball, as they say, and to continue in our proper journey. So let us try, let us continue, let us make our life successful, let us continue our careful reading of Guru Maharaj's books, Gurudev's books, and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's books. Let us continue with the careful chanting of the holy name. In Upadeshamritam, then Rupa Goswami in the translation of Srila Prabhupada is saying, it's a great wonder that by carefully chanting the holy name every day, then our taste will awaken for the higher things. We will understand this material world is nothing, the disease of wanting to be at the center and that we can enjoy this material world. Hridrogam will be uprooted and onwards we will go. So let us go onwards together. Let us go onwards safely under the umbrella of our divine masters. And all of the fortunate souls, they're engaged in the glorification of Mahaprabhu through the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya. And the head of that Sampradaya in our recent time, Srila Bhakti Rapak Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, drawing everybody's attention to Guru Maharaj, the ideal disciple to do that. So you can say head also. We have two heads in particular of our Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. We have these two heads, Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj. They are together giving us the highest things, distributing the highest things, protecting the highest things. We will not get anything more than this anywhere. And Govinda Maharaj, Srila Gurudev Govinda Maharaj, saying, we must always understand and feel, whatever I've got from my master, from this family, from my side, that is more than sufficient for me, more than I can digest and take. So let us be focused, not waste any energy in our lives. Let us try together to chant Hare Krishna without offense, serve the devotees, Vaishnava and Guru, without offense, honor prasadam without offense and with relish, and be happy. So happily with you all this week, and let us appreciate our bodies we are in. Let us remember the value of the devotional journey. We can mention another time about the success of devotional life, if you like. Success of devotional life is that we're always going in the right direction, whatever happens, whenever happens, for the departure of our body, for us leaving our body. Jai, wonderful Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Jai, wonderful Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, and all of our Sri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai, all the Vaishnavas assembled and who will hear, who we can share something with, ki Jai, and Harinam Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Gaur. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Just always seems to take a moment to close things, but bear with us. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.